Welcome back to Steve's World of Wonders.
Now that we've gathered our materials, it's time to build our terrarium. But first, let's do a recap of what we've done so far. I got the jar, the aquarium gravel. I have some rocks that I might put in my terrarium. I have to narrow down which rocks I'm going to use. Here's a long one that I figure this might go in there, that I can set upright so that it doesn't take up as much room. I also have these little dinosaurs that I'm going to add to the terrarium. I'm going to add soil and maybe a little piece of like rotting wood that I find in the woods, and some moss, some small plants, and some mud, and some dry soil. And hopefully some creatures will come out of the soil. So I got this activated carbon from the pet care section at Walmart, and it was only $6. You're probably going to want a layer of this in your enclosed terrarium so that it filters the water and cleans the water as it cycles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just I'm just going to rinse the jar and this gravel. I'll shake that a bit too. So you don't want to use soap. There's a bar of soap there. So I think that's rinsed. So I'm just going to set that in my drying rack, and when it dries I'll put it, I'll put it back into the terrarium. Okay, got the jar here. Step one, we have our pebbles already in. This is for drainage. This is so that the substrate level, or the soil and moss level, doesn't get full of water and putrefy. All the water ends up down here in drainage, excess water. So we have that level. What's next? My metal screen. This goes in next. This is just a mesh screen, stainless steel screen, and I cut it to size using the lid, because the lid is about the same diameter as this part of the jar. So I measured around the lid and cut a little screen. That goes next. That's just to separate the soil from the drainage level so that they don't mix. You don't want them to mix, because that would make the drainage level, the whole point of the drainage level is to keep the water mostly separate from the soil. So we've got the screen in. So the next level is the activated charcoal, which is here. Activated carbon right here. And I got this at Walmart in the pet section, in the aquarium section of the pet section at Walmart, because this usually goes in the filters to filter the water for aquariums. But we're going to filter the water in our terrarium. A lot of ariums, aquariums, terrariums. I'm not sure how much to add, because one person who built closed terrariums online said to put a teaspoon in, and another gentleman said to use a generous amount. So what I'm going to do is go in between and add a thin layer of the activated carbon. We'll add that in. Over the mesh screen. I'm just going to do enough to cover the mesh screen. There we go. You can see the carbon on top of the screen. All right. flatten that out a little bit. All right. So now what we need is the substrate level or the soil level. I don't have much soil actually. Most of it's attached to the to the moss and plants. But we'll add what we have here. There are actually even plants still in here and moss. But I'm gonna dump what we have in on top of the charcoal, the activated charcoal. Dump that in. Not much there. Okay. Oh, let's. I've got my tweezers here that I bought on Amazon. Let's even out that soil a little bit. Break it up a bit. There's some twigs and some moss in there. All right, this was our collection jar. I had the soil in there. I separated the plants that we collected from there. So now let's add some moss in there. Plants and moss. Step 5. I'm going to do the small ones first and see if we have room for the bigger pieces. All right, so I'm going to add my favorite of the plants first so that I make sure it gets in there. And that's this fern here. Now, I didn't go far into researching what kind of plants are good for terrariums and what aren't. I'm just going to see what happens with my terrarium. That's part of the experimental process here. So I've got this nice fern and my tweezers here. Let's grab it by the roots here. There's some moss on there too. And we'll put it in the terrarium somewhere. Down into the terrarium. And we'll put it to the side so I can see it. Have it here. We'll put it deep into the soil. Try and get it pushed in. Like that. Does that seem all right? I also have my rocks that I collected. I want to get this one in because I want to put it vertical. That way it won't take up too much room. So we'll put that along the side. I think that's good on the side there. Maybe. This side's better looking. So I'll put it in like that. Let's get some more little plants. Here's a little tuft of grass. Maybe put that in. Get our tweezers again. Put that in. Let's put that next to the rock. The rock's falling over. Maybe the rock is kind of good falling over. Kind of looks neat. I'm gonna leave that toppled over maybe. I'll put that on top afterwards. The rock is coming out. And I'm gonna add some moss and lichen and then put the plants in between. Otherwise I'm gonna run out of room for the moss. So I'll add some moss and then I'll get back to you. I'm also going to add some lichen. I think that's lichen. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna eat that. Add some lichen. Oh. Add some lichen. And I think there's some more lichen. I think there's lichen there. And some, I don't know the correct terms for these. Looks like lichen to me. I liken it to lichen. Some of these I'm having trouble getting into the soil, so hopefully this will be okay. I'm gonna add a little bit more moss. Let's get a close up. I want to make sure that that fern is planted in, because that's the one I want to survive the most. So I'll push that in a little bit, and I'll put a little bit of moss on top of it. There's the fern there. Hopefully that's in okay. Let's look in on this terrarium. How's it look so far? Decoration and personal touches, like the dinosaurs and the rocks that I have, the rocks that I got. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. Let's go on to the decoration level. All right. I'm gonna add, I think I'm gonna add two rocks, and two dinosaurs. So let's add the rocks. I think I'm gonna add this one because I like the look of it. Where do I add it? Where's the least? That's plants. I think right here. There we go. And now let's add a dinosaur. Let's grab him with the tweezers. Arr, 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 arr. And drop him in there in the forest. The prehistoric forest. Oh, he fell in. There he is. Where is he? Oh, here. There he is. That's pretty good. Couldn't ask for better. Peeking over the shrubbery. Let's get dinosaur number 2. Roar, 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 roar. Let's put him on the other side by the fern. Whoa, perfect. Oop. There he is. There he is. There's the other dinosaur. I forgot I had some pieces of wood, so that's going next. I've got some wood with, excuse me. I've got some wood with moss on it. Let's get that. Here's one with lichen and moss or something. Let's put that in. I'm gonna put it next to the rock to keep the rock propped up. There's the stick next to the rock. Let's put another piece of wood in. Let's lay that one down here. get, what else do we have? Oh, we've got big pieces of wood. I forgot about those. Let's put this one standing up next to the rock as well. Rock and roll. There's another stick. They look like, I don't know what they look like. But I've got this giant piece of wood. What do I do with that? Maybe put the whole thing in. Yeah, I think I'll put that whole thing in. Why not? Why not? Let's put that whole thing in next to the dinosaur. Where is it? Right there. That's it. That's what I just put in. This thing. It's a piece of wood. Oh no. That's the back of big hunk of moss. And this here, that's the wood. So that'll be interesting, that part. There's our friend popping up. This is looking good. This will be fun to watch what happens. There's our other dinosaur, our fern that I really like. And our rock, big rock. Oh, I need another rock. Maybe I'll put the other rock next to the dinosaur here. No. Or here, maybe I'll put the rock here. Right down there. I don't know. Or in the center. Where do I put this rock? Let's add this crystalline rock. Oop. It's a neat one, eh? Let's add that in. Let's put it by this plant here. There. That looks good. I put it by the Mr. Dinosaur. Does that look alright? I kind of don't like it. Maybe it look better flat. Oh, that's not bad. How about that? All right. So this needs a little bit of water to make the full water cycle ecosystem in here work. There's already dampness in the soil and the moss, but I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more water. All right, so I don't know how much water is too much water for this ecosystem, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to pour this distilled water into the center. I don't know why I'm using distilled water, it just seems right. I tried getting pond water, but I was in an environment where you couldn't actually reach the pond water. The bridge over the water was a little bit too high from the water. I couldn't grab it properly. So here we go. Let's add this into our ecosystem, and hopefully that will be fine. And we will go and we'll do a top-down look at this before we close it up, because this is a closed terrarium. So here's what it looks like from above. You can see the orange dinosaur there. You can see the different kinds of lichen and different pieces of wood and my rocks and the other dinosaur. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a nice little project to see where it goes, see what happens inside there. See if it lasts, see if the plants grow, see if new plants grow, see what happens in the soil. See if there are any creatures actually living in there, in the pieces of wood or in the soil. See what happens. So let's close it up. Let's the lid on. And I'll put this in a place where there's some sunshine, not too much on it. And I'll be back in a week and I'll show you if anything's happened, or maybe a little longer than that from now, and we'll see how our little ecosystem, enclosed ecosystem here, has changed. I'm happy with what it looks like. I'm happy at how it turned out. I want to thank my little assistant for helping me gather the materials for this. That was a fun outing on Thanksgiving, and yeah, so a nice little fun project. Maybe you want to try one of these out for yourself. Thanks for joining me for this project. I know it's been a long, drawn out project, but I got it done. It's right here. It's pretty neat. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. This one's been fun. I'm Steve from Steve's World of Wonders. Bye for now. Thanks for watching Steve's World of Wonders. Bye for now.